Well. It's another one of these cooperative conversations about Dark Souls 2. As stated last time, we are going to go ahead and use our Fragrant Branch of Yore on a very special NPC. And then we're going to head to somewhere new. I don't want to make any promises because I forget if the way I want to do things is the way it'll happen.
Well, here's to hoping.
Also, Skellzor's here. He's not very talkative right now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm focused like a laser.
It's good. It's good to have focus, to be focused. And the shortcomings of the large club are evident. Not that way.
So, we've both remarked upon it, but I feel like we should remark upon it again. It feels like the solution for the team's difficulty was just more dudes.
Yeah, the more dudes philosophy is in great effect throughout this game, to its detriment.
I can't sit here and pretend to be some sort of expert authority on game design. You know, it's not like I've worked in the industry, but I do a lot of thinking about it. I talk a lot about things that I like, things that I don't like. I play a lot of good games, and I play a lot of games that are bad, to get an idea of, you know, what to do, what not to do.
Right, it's very easy to tell what you like, right?
Yes. And what I like is subjective, but at the same time, it's also very easy to tell when something is good design and when something is bad design. Like, a menu that takes 4 button presses to save your game is clearly inferior to a menu that takes, like, 2.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, I like to think I know what I'm talking about. So when I say I feel like the people that made Dark Souls 2 made a lot of rookie mistakes, I hope I don't sound too, like, pretentious about it.
No, you don't. Especially because a lot of these mistakes weren't evident in the other games.
Alright. Well, you're not stone anymore, buddy.
I must thank you,
Hi.
traveler. I am Strayed, a wandering sorcerer of sorts. I've been a guest for a very long time, but I don't think that anybody will miss me.
Hey, I learned a gesture.
Nice.
I like you, Strayed.
You lack intelligence. Weak, so terribly weak.
A gape ring, you say?
Cursed one, weak.
I can't... I can't interact with him. My intelligence is too low.
Oh no! Shit, dude, you only got one in.
I do. Well... Let's see if... Oh god. Please don't kill Strayed. Let's put a bunch of enemies with an AoE attack right next to an important NPC.
First one, we...
He doesn't want to talk to me. I... Well, we'll sort that out later.
I'm just gonna trade with Strayed here.
Yeah, what's he showing you? Tell the viewers.
So I have the options when talking to him to buy, trade, talk, and leave. Buying items. He's got some rings, got rogue water, and he's got a bunch of spells.
Yeah.
But if you select trade, you can exchange boss souls for boss weapons.
So you can. And what is your intelligence?
My intelligence, once he stops mocking me for not buying something, is 3. I have 3 int.
3. Interesting. So the target intelligence will be 3. Remember, I have 1. Actually, do I have some souls I could use to level up here?
Bearer of the seek less.
Never gets old. Well, I can get my int up to 2. Let's see if that's enough. So in Scholar, the remaster of this game where they moved a bunch of enemies around, I believe they emptied this room entirely, or at least made them not aggressive. Because, I mean, you can see
This
here,
is the only place.
as soon as you get up from the bonfire, they're just coming straight at you.
Is this the only place you'll ever interact with this guy?
Yes, it is, I believe.
I feel like coming here via the bonfire Nexus Trade is like a trap.
First one, we...
Alright, it must be 3 then. And I need more than the amount of souls I have to level up. Ooh, that's right, you can unlock the cell next to him now. And that gets you this. For no reason. Alright, let's head on back to Majulah then.
Way ahead.
And do you remember where we went to Hyde's Tower of Flame?
I do.
We're gonna be going back there.
Excellent.
Specifically, do you remember that contraption?
I do.
Well... Look! It's Licia!
Oh, hello there. An honor to see you again. This room is not as it seems. There are 2, not 1 pathways leading out. And only this lovely thing reveals the other path. And this, you lovely thing, only runs on miracles. Shall I provide you with one?
Oh, I need to pay her souls to move the path.
Yep. She still sells the same
To
stuff.
cast miracles, you must have strong faith in the gods.
So they
Miracles began as tales
gated
told by
progress
gods.
behind souls?
We preserve their will
Question
with
mark?
rule, pray to their greatness, and are
yes.
blessed in return.
It's an insignificant amount, but they still gated progress behind a quantity of souls.
You can kill her for the key.
Oh, okay.
Because, while you're bowing your head, she just puts a key in a thing. She's a hack fraud. But you know what? My intelligence is only 2, so...
Go ahead.
That was some cool magic. Nice lady.
May the power of
Also, she has a really good armor set. I don't know stats-wise, but it looks very nice.
Ow.
Alright. Rogue Water. That's that Star Wars movie, right?
I believe so.
So we turned the path, we walked down a narrow corridor. We keep walking down a narrow corridor, devoid of enemies or landmarks. You keep walking down a corridor. Oh, it's this guy.
I don't know who you are, but leave me be. The frailty of the weak disrupts the dark. Leave me alone. I'm interested in one thing, dog. You haven't the gift. Leave me alone. I'm interested.
Okay, bye Dark Divers Covenant. So how are you doing, Skell?
I'm moving the contraption.
Oh. No, I thought you'd be a little further along, sorry.
This contraption is needlessly complicated.
It is.
Yeah, I got to her and I didn't have 2,000 souls.
Oh.
Yeah. Had to detour. Because, like a prudent man, in a situation where soul memory is a thing, so losing souls while co-oping with a friend is a more significant setback than usual, I spend as many of my souls as I can whenever I can on things that will be useful. Alright. Eagerly await more cooperative jolliness.
Yeah, let's do some of that. How about you summon me?
Hello
you
there.
changed clothes again.
I did.
Well, so
I'm a
did
fan
I.
of this look.
I'm showing
You're
a
much
little
more my
leg.
fashion than yeah. No, you gotta appeal to the fans. You gotta service them a little.
Yeah.
I don't believe for 1 second that this is just a body. Oh look, I was right.
So interesting thing about these guys. Oh no, I don't have my. They have little
These
like
fellows-
runes written on them.
Oh dear. What was that?
Oh, that's an area. It's a stage hazard. Don't worry,
I
they're super
see.
fragile.
Unfortunately, I lack the dexterity to wield bows.
That is a shame. There's actually a little path down here that I would suggest taking.
You talking about over here?
Yes.
Alright. Probably die.
However,
Yep. That went bad.
I was gonna say I'd be careful.
I'm stuck here, just so you know.
No, you're not.
What, do I keep going down?
Yes. Let me see if I can't get this butterfly though. Hooray!
Oh, hello there. Who are you?
Bad for
You're
you.
inflicting a status ailment.
Oh darn.
Oh, I'm very wounded. I should.
These guys are pretty cool. I think they fit the aesthetic pretty well. A little more than Bandar.
Yeah, they look like they fit in.
What do I want?
Guards, rapier. So how do we leave?
There's a little tunnel somewhere around here. There you go.
So, didn't even get to fight Ricard for his, toothpick.
Nope. Well, guess where you go.
A snug.
Luckily, my pauldron made out of cow skulls will just clip right through.
Hello.
So this
Right.
area, Huntsman's Coat in general, actually, was used very, very heavily in the promotional material leading up to the release. Because it's where the PvP net test was held, and it's where like the general gameplay demo was set. Don't go down there; it's death.
Did you participate in the net test?
No, it
Test
was console only.
Ah.
I forget how to get to the other side, but one of the big features of it was like, oh, let's show off the lighting and all the promotional footage before they changed it, was that you can break these shutters. Oh, and it's bright in here now.
Wasn't that lovely?
And then, people got to play the net test, and it was like, well, it makes it lighter, I guess. What a jump that guy had. Those are some mad ups.
This area has a green palette. There must be lots of poison.
Oh, the butterflies.
Well, they're giving me poison moss pretty much at every turn.
This is just where we were on the other side. But if you come over here, there's that guy.
How polite of him to open the door for us.
Another barred off corridor you'll never get to go into. It doesn't make your world feel bigger, it just makes it feel less accessible. Oh, look at all this content we could have had, but didn't.
Oh, I'm sure the season pass will, unbar, allow us to pass through all these blocked off corridors.
Yeah,
Did anyone
most
ever try and make
certainly.
that argument?
I forget.
Could have easily missed that.
By the time I actually got to play Dark Souls 2, because much like Dark Souls 3, it had a useless delay on its PC release. It was like, the consoles get it, and then 2 weeks later, you PC schlubs can play it. And
You see, it's very hard to port a video game to the hardware that it was made on. It's extremely difficult.
I mean, sure, that's ignoring things like, you know, the development kits and the proper things, but, I mean... Is it too much to ask after they gutted the graphics to make it run on the consoles to not then give the consoles even more favor?
Well, in this industry it is. Because the consoles are where we make all our money.
They make all their money on consoles because they treat the console players better, which means that more people buy it on console because they get treated better. And yeah, that's a gross oversimplification of the entire economic model of gaming, but you can't help but be a little miffed when you have to wait an entire month to play Dark Souls 3.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they are beholden to the whims of their shareholders, which in all likelihood are people that have never played a video game in their lives.
I think my great-grandson has one of them Ninterdons. Ninterdons?
Nintodon sounds like a really interesting dinosaur.
It does, I'd like to meet it.
So I want to go in there. How do I go in there?
You go in there eventually.
Let's see.
So this is the game's spooky forest ride.
Yeah,
It's got zombies and big zombies with 2 swords.
Ironically,
And
nowhere near as good as the spooky forest ride in Dark Souls 3.
Or Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne's spooky forest is the best in any game I've played.
I have not played Bloodborne.
The spooky forest in Bloodborne was the game's last good level.
Ho ho! Hot opinions up here, folks.
My full opinions on Bloodborne can be viewed at the following link that will appear on your screen.
Reckon has lots of opinions. I can't weigh in, I haven't played the game.
Also, yes, that is my personal blog. You can follow it if you like Metal Gear Solid jokes.
There's a lot of them on there.
It is weird though. I am a fan of a lot of things, but I don't actually know what like the fandom scene is for a lot of them. Like
It's usually a wasteland, don't worry
Sure.
about it.
I feel like it gives me a weird inability to judge how many other people like something I like. Like I have I've read and followed the Redwall series since I was a child in the 90s. I have no idea how many other people like those books. Like I know it's a lot because they sell very well and it was a series that lasted for like almost 30 years. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you how popular they are in various communities. What the
Hey, look.
overall opinion of not children is for it.
I like this guy's hustle.
Yeah. Oops. Come on, man. Now, before we fight this boss, would you like to go to the rest of the area you walked past?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Excellent.
How do I acquire that? I suppose I jump?
Yep.
Up, up and away. Blind bone dust.
Oh, nice. A worthy item to jump for.
So I saw a drop down here. Assuming that's the, maybe it's not a drop. I don't know what that is. Is there an item down there? Oh, there's one down there. Oh, goodbye.
Bye. But anyway, my point is that I can like something and then just go through life not knowing how popular it is in the least.
Good way to live, to be honest with you. Let's use a human effigy here.
I mean, I know Dark Souls is very large, obviously. That's probably the thing I'm most aware of, actually. But for books, it's weird. You can't ever find anyone just kind of talking casually about books.
It's because no one reads.
I blame technology.
Technology has made it easier to read than ever.
Technology's taking all our words away. It's taking words out of pages and putting them on your Facebook screens.
Hey guys, did you know that like everyone uses their iPhone? And it like distracts them from real life?
Did you know that world literacy is up, like, a lot because everyone's suddenly reading a lot more, even if it is text messages and Facebook updates about their grandmother's aunt's dog? Turns out words are words, and if you read them, you're reading.
No, but it's got to be on paper. It's got to be ink. It's got to be taken from a library.
I mean, not that I don't want more people reading books I like so I can talk with them about it, but what's really wrong with someone reading something on their phone?
Apart from the fact that like a phone's tiny.
I
Not
mean,
that great to
something
read
as
with.
in just something, not...
There isn't.
I mean, specifically that humans, us humans here on the planet Earth, have a long and storied history of doing anything we can to avoid talking to other people. And a computer in our pocket is just the latest.
You see, you know, back in the 1800s or so, this is going to expose my ignorance on like dates. People had to talk to each other face to face. And then a man named Samuel Morse said, "I don't want to do that." The rest is history.
No, you are correct. The telegram was invented in 18... before the first half of the 1800s. Are you going to summon me anytime soon?
Yeah, give me a moment, sorry. Technical difficulties.
That was a fun little nap we all had.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you were hoping for a resolution to that conversation, get used to disappointment.
I apologize greatly. Technical difficulties were had on my end. Alright,
Lead
let's
on.
go.
So how are you feeling about this area?
Considering I just walked straight to the boss on the first try, I don't know how I'm feeling about this area.
That's fair. That's a lot of areas in this game. I will say, Dark Souls 2 is quite large. It does have a pretty sizable number of areas. They're none of them quite as big as anything in Dark Souls 3, but there are a lot of them. What do you think about this guy?
He looks like he belongs in Dota.
Pudge?
Pudge. Ooh. Item. Ooh, a shiny. I'm not a fan of these butterflies.
Does he join Bandar in the cast of He-Man?
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
I mean, even these zombie-looking fellows, they look like Resident Evil enemies. They don't...
Dark Souls 2 is a cartoon.
Ooh, I see another shiny.
I will say more about it. The areas in Dark Souls 2 are all a bit bite-sized, whereas in 3 they were all a bit tiny little sliver of butter spread over too many pieces of toast.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with like the backgrounds and the areas around where you traversed in 3, but the actual surface area of a given level was small. 3. These areas...
Come along this way, or I'm trying to lead
Yes.
you.
Sorry, someone was shooting arrows at us. Ooh, a lever. Neat. These areas are, they're not small, but they are laid out poorly.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to just go straight to the boss, as I have proven multiple times.
It really is.
It's locked. Hey, Reckon,
Yeah.
you ever read a manga called Berserk?
Nope.
Alright, moving on.
That's the thing that stole all its imagery from Bloodborne, right?
That's correct.
That's the thing with that guy that did everything right, and that girl who is just there to be cute and make everybody want to kiss her?
Yeah.
And the guy
It's
who's
the-
a total badass with a big sword, and he's like the best fighter ever, and everyone wants to be him.
Yeah, Intestines, that guy.
See, I wasn't lying. I've never read Berserk. I've never watched Berserk. I know enough about Berserk to say all the wrong things about Berserk.
Yeah, I have complained at length about a lot of things to Reckon regarding Berserk. Especially my opinion of fan service when it comes to Berserk. And how everybody except Miura understands that fan service is not a good idea when dealing with the franchise. And then we get the Souls series, which is nothing but Berserk fan service.
Well, is it fan service in the sense of, like, making a pin-up doll of the girl character who is, like, sexually abused and is, like, not supposed to be objectified that way because it's in really poor taste? Or is it just, like, Miyazaki watched this anime and read some comics and was like, holy shit, that's cool, I'm gonna put it in my video game?
Okay, so Miyazaki is definitely in the WoW cool sword school, and it's nowhere near as bad as the Berserk Musou, which, for those of you who may not know, they did a pre-order costume for the game on its PC release, and I think for the console release too, that was, it was an outfit for Casca, that was Casca in the wet shirt that she has on when she's bathing in the waterfall after the eclipse happens. And if you're not familiar with Berserk, that is absolutely not something that you should ever treat as fan service. And the fact that anyone thought that that was okay is shocking and horrifying to me, and hopefully others. But enough about that. Let's talk about this Berserk game.
So, remember in Dark Souls 1, where there's a necromancer?
I do. That pot is menacing.
You should break it. Like, immediately. It puts out a curse aura.
Oh. Oh dear. I didn't even notice.
I can't use my life gem.
Visions of skeleton.
Items.
Has something gone wrong?
I think this is part of something. I don't know. There's a way to open that, and then you get some other stuff, and this area just makes a big circuit.
Oh, okay. Ah, I see.
Yeah. So, Skullzar, is what you're telling me that you can have a female character in a piece of media be something else other than a pair of breasts attached to word balloons?
You can have that. And there are a lot of good examples of that in various things. Berserk was one of them, but then some things happened, and then it wasn't anymore. But recent developments have shown that they're finally running back on something that I personally was never a fan of. But enough about Berserk. Let's talk to this fella. Okay, Kryten, Wanderer, you taught me fist pump. You're very angry. Hey.
Yep, he sure is.
Is anything going to come of that, or is this going to be one of those things that's going to fizzle out?
No, something does come of it. You're just probably not going to see it because it requires about 6 different really arcane hidden steps. So let's keep going.
Alrighty. One moment, sorry. Technical difficulties. Alright, so...
Alright, let's keep going for real this time.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't use items.
That's alarming.
Oh, it's because we got invaded, that's right.
When did that happen?
Over here. When we were going down this way. We got invaded by an NPC.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
There they are. It's Merciless Rowena.
That's a goofy outfit you got there, Rowena.
Oh, please.
Bye.
Nice work.
I guess I'll have to come back to the items. Oh, there we go. Give me an effigy.
Now I can heal myself.
More blocked off hallways.
Yup. Although that at least shows you a fog gate. Although it begs the question, why even bother?
Oh, what is happening here? I got
What?
stuck on something in the geometry.
I don't know.
Oh,
What's
I
over
can't
this way?
replicate it. What is over this way? More skeletons. Do I have to jump to get to that Chromancer?
Yes.
Slide.
I can do it for you.
Oh, I got this.
I can't do it for you.
Good job.
So I've died more to
hold on.
jumping than anything else at this
Yes.
point.
It's not great. Jumping was never great, and it never has been, and it probably never will be in the Soul series.
No. I'm gonna go ahead and make my way to the bonfire,
Yes.
the second bonfire in this area, not the one at the very beginning.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. You should give Berserker a read someday.
I'll read it when it's finished. Exactly. Look, I already am stuck halfway through something that's never going to update again. So,
Oh,
I don't need
good
another one of
heaven.
those.
Like, whatever you cut, please keep that exchange in the video.
No, I'm well aware that Berserk goes on hiatus more often than the sun falls below the horizon. I know.
They came back for like 2 chapters, and then they went on hiatus again. Oh.
But, like I said, I already was reading something that stopped updating and went through some troubles and has now not really consistently updated except for half a chapter for like over a decade now.
I mean, that's understandable.
Because the author the author and artist went on hiatus, and then was going to went on hiatus because of like job things, and then was going to come back. Then her husband died, so understandably she was like, I don't think I'm ready to come back to this comic yet. Then she came back and was like, oh, well, you know, since he was such a big part of, like, helping me with the story and the writing from the early days, I don't feel I could do the same story without him, so I'm gonna do a reboot. But then the reboot never happened, and she was like, okay, actually, I'm just gonna continue from where I left off. And it was a whole process, and then we got half a chapter. Didn't even finish the chapter that was left off at that point 9 years prior, and has since stopped updating that comic again, and that's been like another 2 years. So, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I'm not gonna bother telling you, because you don't need that pain in your life. Oh! I slipped. I slipped and I died. Oh, I'm
These things happen.
so good at video games.
Back
Now that's taken care of, let's do a quick jaunt over to Majulah to level up, get another point of intelligence. Skell will be right with you.
Very good. Very good indeed. Cursed one, weak you may be, but I, Strength, will teach you my spells.
Thanks, Strade. Oh, that was an ordeal. So we're gonna go ahead and get around the same area for me, just in case that all happens again. We can just pop back a little more easily.
Let's get you caught up, buddy.
Hey, an item. Oh, it's a torch. Or rather, 5 minutes of my existing torch.
It's just such a bizarre mechanic.
Alright, we're getting these burrs now. What do they do again? Temporarily boosts fire defense. Which is different than the troches.
Trochee.
I don't worry about it.
I'll try not to.
Wow, please leave me alone. There we go. Thank you for leaving me alone. Oh, prisoner's waistcloth. Hell yeah. Not gonna not show that off.
Well, let's come have a look at you then. Wherever you may have.
I went a little further up. I'm just grabbing this item. It's the notched whip.
So, walking around in this area for as long as we have, yeah, the notched whip. The item nobody cares about. I don't know. Maybe it's good in Dark Souls too. You tell me.
No. Whips have much too low durability to be of any use. Because you hit someone and it's half broken.
Since we've been wandering around this area, let's talk about color palettes.
Okay. I love
And how this
talk.
area is an example of a... I mean, it's subjective, but I want to say this area has a very poorly thought out color palette.
It's very drab. Typically you want in a color palette one color that draws the eye. And the best you could really say for this area is the greens underfoot as you're walking around, because your character light aura illuminates the grass. And like, sure, they're going for the light in the skybox to like silhouette everything, and when it works it does look cool. The problem is you're never looking at the sky.
Yeah, this area is not exactly designed in a way that lets you do that an awful lot. I mean, pretty much in a valley here.
Yeah.
Sandwiched between various cliff faces. Something that doesn't help is that there is this miasma, this fog. I don't know exactly what the technical term for the effect is, but this sort of muted blue that hangs over everything in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it was a deliberate choice or not, it is doing everything it can to make this drab color palette even more painful for the eyes.
Oh, I guess you already killed that guy.
I
was
did.
like, when's the guy gonna drop down?
I was the guy who dropped down. So you could say, okay, drab color palette, but they did it so that they could have these sconces light up the area in orange and call your attention to them. But this bridge is the only thing that's lit up in the whole area.
Yup. You've lost me.
Overall... Oh, you went back down, Yes, there you are. Oh, I see. Okay. That's how you do that.
Yeah. Of course, it doesn't matter. You don't get to go anywhere.
No, it's a bummer.
As with many secret paths in Dark Souls 2, it's ultimately a total disappointment.
It was put there to be a neat secret so you can get one item and then leave, instead of like put there as a place someone would have used to conceal something or impede the free movement of someone.
Granted, it is Soul Spear, so it's like it's a good item to get.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
So yeah, this. This is an example of when you've got a drab color palette like this. This is something you do, right?
Yeah.
But this is immediately after the bridge, and the bridge and this are the only two things in this area that do this. So like,
Yeah.
this color palette they have selected is where your eyeball goes to die.
That's correct. I hesitate to suggest anything they could have done to correct this. I'm not big on color theory myself. Alright, can't actually... I don't have a torch to light, unfortunately. Or I don't have a place to light a torch around here. For some reason, the giant bonfire that isn't a capital B bonfire doesn't let you light torches off of it.
Well, that's fire, but that's not fire, right?
Right.
And fire are two different things in the Souls
I
universe.
could just get a flame butterfly. I could use that.
Could.
Yeah,
And that poor-
honestly, the suggestion I would make would be to use some sort of lighter neutral color, like maybe a lighter rock color of some kind, to accent the cliff faces and not exactly tell you where you're supposed to go, but certainly guide you a little more. Because color is also very important for guiding the player.
There are papers published online in the hundreds that are to that effect.
Yeah.
Maybe not the hundreds, but there are.
I
there
wouldn't
are a
doubt
few.
it by now. I mean, after Gabe Newell spent 2 hours talking to you in Left 4 Dead about positioning car headlights just so.
Yeah, Valve take lighting very seriously. Goodbye. They take guiding the player very seriously, and I suppose an argument could be made that like they don't want to guide the player; they want you to explore. But
Sure.
you can still use highlights and like contrast to call attention to points of interest if you want your player to explore.
Yes. You certainly can. And it is in fact encouraged.
You want me to do the jump this time?
Well, maybe.
I'll go for it. Me smart. Nope. Best of luck.
There we go. Except you. There we go. I did it, don't worry.
I'll be waiting at the other bonfire.
Alright. Oh, flame butterfly. Flame butterflies eventually become those items you just have many, many of.
Well, I have 11 so far. I haven't really been trying to get them.
Yeah.
So, excuse me a moment.
Certainly. That's that. All these swords standing straight up.
So to extend off of the conversation about color theory, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about concept art.
Okay.
Now, I have not seen concept art for Dark Souls 2. I don't know what their concept art was like, I don't know who their concept artist was. But, concept art plays a critical role in developing a video game.
It does.
Something that is very important when it comes to concept art is understanding that as you can try, and there are some people that succeeded, but it is very difficult to take your concept art and replicate it in a 3D environment in a video game.
Yes.
So a pitfall that, you know, a less experienced developer might fall into, say if you were some sort of secondary team of newer staff who were being trained still in the art of constructing a video game, a pitfall that they might fall into is having their concept artists draw up a bunch of concepts for areas and then trying to replicate them 100% as they are shown in the concept art, with no regard for the effect it might have when it's turned into a 3D environment, how it will look, how the player will see it, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
I'm not saying that that is definitely what happened in this area, but I have a feeling it might be what happened in this area, right? Where these really cool drawings with muted color palettes were presented to the developers, and they were like, that looks cool, we have to make that. And then they did that, and it's not really working.
Yeah. There's a lot of incidental blandness, I want to say, in this game, where like
Which,
in
a 2D image would work.
Yeah, like you'll have a cool thing to look at, and it's like, wow, that's really cool to look at, and then you pan the camera away and there's nothing else because nobody drew a picture of it. I forget which boss fight this is.
You want to give it a shot? We're giving it a shot.
It's this one! Scythe first, right?
Ooh. Skeleton Lords!
Hey, remember how you were talking about just fighting lots of enemies?
Yes. Oh, this is one of those again, huh? Oh look, Bone Wheels! Everyone's favorite enemy from Dark Souls 1.
This land is peaceful, its inhabitants kind.
If thou seekest I, thou shalt be requited not.
Oops.
Hey, what? Didn't Bone Wheels only appear in one area in Dark Souls 1? No, they did,
What?
sorry, they appeared in the catacombs.
In the catacombs.
Yes.
But they were in the Painted World.
They were in the Painted World.
Not to say anything about that.
No.
Okay. This boss fight is easy, but again, it's just like, here's 3 guys and also a horde of enemies.
They tried.
Don't worry,
They tried.
we're not done yet. You could just climb over this. You could just climb over these rocks.
armor and weapons are too heavy. Cannot traverse.
I'm not wearing pants.
I'm back at the bonfire, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Alrighty. Did you ever watch a show called Skeleton Warriors as a kid?
Nope. Never even heard of it.
Well, it wasn't a good show. It was an entertaining show. Another one of those merchandise-driven, you know, sell the toys to the kids animated series.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's go kick some skeleton ass. Pelvis? There's not much ass left for skeletons. Skelevis. And then we'll call it quits. And we'll go for a nice little ride next time. But first, Skeleton Lords. See, this is another area, as we've already been to the other fog gate, that there are just two bosses hanging out right next to each other. You know. 'Cause why not?
Time is convoluted, etc., etc.
At least there are more than 10 enemies in this area. You can't see all of it your first time stepping through the doorway. Go ahead.
I appreciate them sitting on their chairs. Wow, individually they are not very strong.
No, it's
So,
when they die, they summon their respective horde.
That horde?
Yeah.
What I just killed?
The 3 or 4 skeletons. It's regular skeletons, armored skeletons, and bone wheels.
So, looking around this area while we're fighting, I got a question for you, Ray.
Yeah?
Have you read a manga called Berserk?
No, I haven't. That's the one with the blonde-haired kid who is always got his best friend's interests at heart, right?
Yeah, that one.
And he tries really hard, and sometimes he messes up, but it's okay, because, you know, he loves Colin.
Well, at the end of the day, all he really wants is his own castle. So ultimately, Berserk is a story about real estate.
It's a Superman movie! God damn it! Now we gotta end the episode on that. See you later, everyone. Berserk is Superman.
Farewell!